It's lights out and away we go, and Verstappen getting away better and has that inside line going into turn one. Verstappen's ahead.
Howdy, Formula One partners. Welcome to Formula Pun Racer. Today is October 28th, 2022. My video review is on the United States Grand Prix, which occurred at the Circuit of the Americas outside of Austin, Texas. But before I get into my review of the race, I'd like to dedicate this video with a moment of silence in memory of the co-owner of Red Bull Energy Drinks, as well as the owner of the F1 racing team that bears the name, Dietrich Mateschitz of Austria, who sadly died the day before the United States Grand Prix. He was 78. So we like to say, we will miss you, Dietrich Mateschitz, for the wonderful conglomeration that you've created, this energy drink we know as Red Bull, and how you've had the pleasure of seeing your team win many races, as well as expand your business into many other avenues of life, from sports to stunts to you name it. Red Bull's first exposure to F1 sponsorship began in 1995 with Sauber, and from there just grew, and eventually by 2005 it purchased what was once the Jaguar racing team at the end of 2004 and became the Red Bull racing team since. And it has its share of manufacturer victories, especially with Sebastian Vettel, and with Max Verstappen. Well, there's no knowing what heights that team will go to next. So, 5 seconds of silence, please, for Herr Dietrich Mateschitz. Auf Wiedersehen, Dietrich. Dankeschön for the memories. Now to get on with my review of the United States Grand Prix, I will say, with Red Bull starting second, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz Jr. Ferrari was on the pole, and it looked like he had this well in hand, but just a few yards before the first corner on the first lap, Max already overtook Carlos Sainz. Although it was good to see, at least for a while, Carlos Sainz seemed to be on top of the world by being on pole. But then, in that very first corner, things went awry for the Spaniard, shown here.
Harry, I've reached the top!
In case you couldn't tell what was going on there, Carlos Sainz Jr. was pitted around by George Russell in his Mercedes, who started fourth. What happened was that while Carlos Sainz Jr. had the right of way going in the corner, Russell tried to cut on like this, and, well, Carlos Sainz got pitted around. And it caused some damage to his suspension, which forced the Spaniard to limp his damaged Ferrari back to the pits from starting first to finishing dead last in the first corner of the first lap. What a shame that for one Italian stallion, it got glued on the very first turn.
Oh, come on!
Despite the fact that George Russell endured a 5-second penalty for pitting Carlos Sainz out of the race, the young Brit George was still able to rustle up an impressive 5th place finish. By the way, you may have noticed a few seconds ago I had stubble on my face. Well, just like my face, the USGP had its share of close shaves too. In fact, for a first third of the race, the Aston Martins of Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel were in the top 6 here or there. And even Lance was in the podium positions to a point as well. And then, by lap 18, the second DNF occurred when Valtteri Bottas of Finland and his Alfa Romeo spun out into the gravel trap, bringing out the yellow. When the race would resume 4 laps later, well, unfortunately the 1-2 points finish for Aston Martin came unstuck when Lance Stroll collided with Fernando Alonso's Alpine Renault, and boy, the Spaniard did have quite a fright.
I'm flying.
Ow!
And as for how Lance saw it, he was not a happy Canadian about this at all. But at least Fernando doesn't bear any ill will against him, eh? Bad enough that Lance and Fernando took a scary ride, but as a result of this tangle with Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll has been issued 2 hardships. 1. A 3-place grid penalty in Mexico. And even more so, he's been docked 2 penalty points as a result on his license. Well, Lance, I'm sorry to hear that this is all happening to you. And especially when you have to stroll into Mexico with a 3-grid place penalty. But hey, with tomorrow being your birthday, don't let that get you down, because I'm sure your team will throw you a happy fiesta, and win or lose, I trust you can do well. I wish you the best of luck, and Sebastian Vettel too, in Mexico. And I will say, happy birthday, Lance. I wish you the best of luck, and go get him. And if you win, everybody will have something exciting to talk about. In addition to Lance Stroll's future teammate at Aston Martin being Fernando Alonso, it's interesting to know the Spaniard, later on in the race, before he finished 7th, his right wing mirror fell off, but he still finished 7th. Now there's a performance that Fernando can always reflect on. Amazingly, all wasn't lost for Aston Martin in Austin, Texas, as for 2 laps, Sebastian Vettel's Aston Martin actually led 2 laps of the race. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold the lead for long as he had to take a pit stop, surrendering the lead to Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes. But to make matters worse, the left front tire changer had trouble with the wheel, and that cost him dearly. But hey, Sebastian Vettel was not about to give up, and at the finish line, he managed to beat Kevin Magnussen's Haas for 8th place, so Aston still finished in the points. Congratulations, Sebastian. It's just unfortunate that Lance didn't finish, and well, you did the best you could, but good luck in Mexico anyway.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, it's killing me too to know how much Aston Martin and Ferrari are not doing well this season. But interestingly enough, Charles Leclerc, who had a position place penalty for the USGP, who started 12th, miraculously managed to finish 3rd for Ferrari, so at least Ferrari and Aston Martin do come home with some points. But in the end, with 6 laps to go, Red Bull driver Max Verstappen managed to win it again for Red Bull, taking his 13th win of the season. He now ties Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel as the winningest driver in one single season, 13 races. And naturally, having already won the Drivers' Championship, this win by Red Bull has cemented the racing team as the constructors' victor. Congratulations, Red Bull, winning it for Dietrich Mateschitz. So that's the top 3. Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc round out the top 3 for the race in Austin, Texas. And that was definitely an exciting race, I should say. And a lot of penalties thrown about too. As well as cost cap breaches too on both Aston Martin and Red Bull's part. Try to bring all this in. It's enough to make your mind run amok. And that is the conclusion of my review of the United States Grand Prix. If you're ready for some more F1 action, tune in the day after Lance Stroll celebrates his birthday as they race in Mexico the day after, October 30th. It's going to be very exciting, and as I said, something festive to talk about. So gather your burritos, fajitas, you name it, dip in guacamole if you want, and let's see, can Red Bull charge again and get the highest stakes? Can the prancing horse leap back into action? Or can Aston Martin actually wing it? Or can the Mercedes Silverados be on point? Tune in to find out. Thanks for watching my video, everyone. If you like, please subscribe, share with your family and friends. Please leave a comment. I love hearing what you have to say about my video reviews, as well as hoping I make you laugh, too. And let's see if Ferrari can be the best of the rest, or can Lance get a birthday present for himself, or can Sebastian Vettel go out on a high with only 3 races left in the Formula 1 season. Once again, thanks for watching. See you in the next video, everybody. I'm Aaron Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.